grown-ups. Right. So we can start now. Welcome, evening, everybody. Welcome to Louise. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. Do you know anything about mindfulness? As graceful,
I have tried a bit.
You've tried a bit?
Did anybody hear that thing on Radio 4 about it? There was a mindfulness programme, like looking into whether it's a fad or not.
Oh, right, okay. Was that recent?
Yeah, it was on this weekend. So we went on the iPlayer and I tried playing it to her and then it broke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it got into a little bit of what the idea of it is, but I'm not sure she's really the same. It's really great. And yeah, it is.
Basically, it's all about being in the present moment. So this moment in time is the only moment in time that actually exists. This is the only moment we've got to experience being alive. Past is gone, we can't change the past, we can't do anything about the past, there's no point in worrying about the past. It's gone, done. Future hasn't happened yet. We can make our best guess as to what might happen in the future, we can make plans for the future, but ultimately we can't control it, we don't know what's going to happen. So again, there's no point worrying about it, there's no point giving it undue attention. The only moment, as I've mentioned, is this moment. And mindfulness is about being aware, bringing your awareness and bringing your attention to this moment in time. So you can fully experience being alive and how fantastic it is to be alive. The reason it's so good is because it's great for helping people combat stress and anxiety and things like that. You know, we spend so much time worrying about what happened in the past, worrying about what's going to happen in the future, and we have no control over it. So if we can bring our awareness and our attention to the present moment, then we get rid of so much worry and anxiety, and we can be free and happy and skip down the road with butterflies all around, little dicky birds, just like raisins when she pretended she's Snow White, little dicky birds on her shoulder. So what we do within the group is we practice a few exercises, and I changed it a bit. We used to do a couple of longer ones, and now we're sort of chucking a few little smaller ones, and then we discuss a topic. And the topic for this week is excess, which I thought, given the celebrations with which we have just emerged, it was pertinent. I picked excess not just because of the Christmas period and how we all indulge. It was Mary Poppins that was the final decider, because it came on.
I'm intrigued.
It came on, and there was the little bit towards the beginning, when Mary Poppins has just arrived at the house and they've tidied up the nursery, and the kids say, I want to carry on, I want to do it again. And she says, no, enough is as good as a feast. And it was that line, I thought, there we go. I've decided we're going to do excess. So we have to thank Mary Poppins for tonight's topic. Before we get into it, we'll do an exercise. And we will, what should we do? We'll do the sitting. That's an easy one to start. So what we do for this one is we just engage our senses. So it's our senses that tell us what's going on around us. So just one at a time, we just engage our senses, and it allows us to bring our awareness to the present moment. So we begin by just looking around, seeing what we can see, and just looking, just seeing what there is in this moment. Colours, shapes. When you've had a look around, you may close your eyes, and you can bring your awareness to the weight of your body sat in the chair. Just be aware of the fact. Maybe you can feel your the pressure of your back pressing against the back of the chair. You can feel gravity pulling down through your spine, down through your bottom, as your bottom presses into the seat. Be aware of your legs, your thighs in contact with the chair, down to your feet, resting on the floor. Be aware of your clothes against your skin, on your legs, on your arms. And you may even be aware of the movement of air on your skin. So on your hands, on your face, and your neck. It's very faint. Now take a nice breath in through the nose and just smell. Just be aware of smell. And then taste, aware of taste in your mouth. You're not trying to detect anything in particular, you're just being aware of of the taste in your mouth at this moment. And then finally you can move your awareness to what you can hear. And at this point it's just about allowing the sound to happen, accepting the sound, just following it moment by moment. And if your mind wanders, if you find yourself, you become aware of yourself thinking about other things, that's okay, it doesn't matter. Just bring the awareness back to listening. Good. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes. So who had an excessive Christmas?
No, it's just Christmas if I'm totally honest.
Okay. Who has an excessive lifestyle? So what kind of dribbling down a few excessive water in front of you. What kind of excess is there?
Alcohol.
Alcohol.
Yay!
That's right. Yay. Alcohol, that's number one, food.
I like a binge.
We like a binge. Any others that you can think of? Shopping. Okay. And they're things that are enjoyable. It's nice to have a drink. It's nice to eat, and feel full and eat scrummy stuff, chocolate and cake and whatever it might be. Not everybody has a sweet tooth, Some people gorge themselves cheese. Oh.
Bloody hell,
Oh, God,
so
yeah.
much cheese and wine. But cheese and wine go together. I know!
A nice bit of soft cheese, a bit of tomato on a bit of French stick with a glass of red wine.
That's
Bit of Santa girl. Oh. Yes. So it's generally it's pleasurable stuff that we enjoy doing, but we do it a bit more than perhaps we should, or we think we should. We do it excessively. And it's viewed as being bad, isn't it? It's viewed as being negative.
Kind of viewed as being acceptable.
Well, that's it. But I'm going to get onto that whole, is it bad? Is it not bad? Generally, it's viewed as being, unacceptable. Well, I'm starting on the unacceptable. We'll go on to, it's not good to be greedy. Those people that do drink to excess are drunks or lushes or whatever you want to refer to them as. People that are gluttons. It's one of the 7 deadly sins, isn't it?
Yeah.
People that shop excessively always end up with ridiculous amounts of debt on their credit cards and their store cards and end up in all sorts of problems. So it's deemed as being negative. It's deemed as being, it's viewed as being a harmful activity. And even other things that people perhaps do excessively get viewed as being negative. For example, you get people who are excessively happy, don't we? And you see them, and they're always happy, and they're always smiling, and you go, oh, for God's sake, it's just not natural to be that happy. What is wrong with them? Or people that seem to be excessively loved up. You get those couples, and they're always mooning over each other and staring at each other in the eyes, calling each other those ridiculous pet names, lovey kids, oh my little sugar bear, and all that, and you think, it's just excessive, it's just not natural. How can we possibly be that much in love? It's wrong. But we do. We view it negatively. Excessive passion. That's definitely negative.
Isn't it?
That's definitely.
Like something I've never worried about, I have to say. my house is excessively dirty. I've got far too more things to do.
That's like dust. The millimetre of dust is still dust.
It used to be a rule in my house when the kids were little, if you write your name in it, you have to dust it. Because if you don't, it stays the same all the time.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Well, I've just painted my house dust colour.
Oh, yeah.
I have dust coloured carpet, dust coloured walls, dust coloured sofa, so it's just so excess is bad. Even excessive stuff that we think you can't possibly do excessively, like be happy or be in love and all those kind of things, they're still bad. Okay, that's the point around that. So now we do another exercise, and then we'll look at the flip side of it. So let's do some. We'll do some mindful arm movements because I know you like that one. Yeah. So what we do for this one is we just move the hands. Start down here, and we bring them up so they meet, and we try not to whack the person next to us. And you can just do little movements if you've got a little room, or you can do big movements. It's entirely up to you. And you can close your eyes or keep your eyes open, and all you do is breathe in as you bring your hands together, and breathe out as the hands move apart and the arms move down. And we just repeat that, breathing in, bring them together, breathe out, and lower. And as you do that, just be mindful, be aware that your arms are moving. Be aware of what it feels like. Be aware of connecting the breath as you breathe in and you feel your chest expand as the arms rise. And then be aware of the lungs deflating and the chest falling as the arms fall. And as you complete the movements, feel yourself relaxing. Be aware that you probably look quite silly, but then we all look really silly at the same time, so it doesn't matter. Good. And just be aware of that point at the top when the hands meet, and be aware of them touching and then coming apart. That's it. Good. And then maybe be aware of the slight pain, the build-up, the ache in the shoulders that comes with repetitive movement. Just be aware of it and just accept it. And when you're ready, you can relax and open your eyes. Okay. So a moment ago, we established that excess is bad. All excess is bad. Or is it? Or is it? So there's kind of the good side to excess. As you said, Zaza, it's kind of become a little bit, it's accepted in certain circles.
Encouraged.
Yeah, sometimes it's encouraged. The image of the excessive rock and roll star comes to mind. We certainly I have my idols, and they were excessive characters. They indulged. They went on tour and rampaged across the globe. Drinking, snorting, screwing, whatever. Crossed their path. And whilst, it's sometimes viewed in a relatively negative sense as being humble, but also there's that romantic quality to it. These larger-than-life characters. You can go back. You go back through time. You get poets like Byron, who had that similar, lust for life, to quote Iggy Pop. That appetite for just enjoying life. You go back even further, and you get Dionysus, the Greek, Greek god of whatever he was the god of, excess. Bacchanalia, all of these mythical characters, and it's about enjoying life, being in the moment, and just having an appetite for all of it. So there's that side of it, this kind of romantic notion of excess being whilst it's indulgent, it's also glorified, and it shows an appetite for life and a desire to get out there and just experience the world and experience life and experience everything that it has to offer, which is commendable. And I think from a mindful perspective, which is about being aware of the world and being aware of being alive and how fantastic it is to be alive, that fits in. That notion fits. So that then leads us into mindfulness, the present moment. Now, where does mindfulness fit within this whole notion of excess? The idea of excess is more than enough, more than is required. Doing everything to the extreme. If you think about the present moment, this moment in time, right now, that we are experiencing, you could almost argue that there is nothing more excessive than this moment in time. All life, everything that is alive on this planet and beyond, is alive in this moment in time right now. All matter, everything that exists, stone, all matter exists in this present moment now. All energy, whether it's light, whether it's heat, whether it's electromagnetism, gravity, all that energy that exists in this moment right now. So everything, all life, all energy, all matter, everything that is, exists in this moment in time, right now. I mean, there's not much, you can't get more excessive than that. You can't get more excessive than absolutely everything that there is in this moment. And by being mindful, by being in the moment, by bringing our awareness to this moment in time right now, we become a part of that. We are experiencing that, and we are aware of that present moment and everything else, but we are also a part of it. So we become a part of that excess. And so that can't be a bad thing. That isn't a bad thing. To be a part of that, to be connected to everything that is in this moment in time and experiencing what we can experience alongside everything, that can't be a bad thing. So it's impossible, if we're being mindful, to be experiencing life excessively. You know, you can't be experiencing more than enough. That's what I would say. And the other element to mindfulness is what happens when we apply mindfulness in the area of all those other pursuits that we talked about before. You know, if we eat mindfully, is it possible to eat excessively if we eat mindfully? No, you can't, because your experience of what you're eating is just so complete, so total. But if you eat mindfully, you're aware of what you've got that cheese in front of you, and you're aware of what it looks like. You're aware of what it smells like. You're aware of what sound it makes. You know, certainly when you bite into it, you're aware of the sound. You're aware of the texture. You're aware of the smell, the taste, and so all of the senses are involved. And the experience adds up to more than just a square of cheese or whatever. You know, the experience is an excessive experience, but you can't possibly say that it's an excessive. You're not being excessive if you're eating mindfully.
I think that the tricky bit about eating mindfully is when you've got a whole group of people sitting around the table and you're all doing it together. You can't be mindful when you're eating when everyone's talking and everyone's. I've never been able to concentrate just on that
No, you don't. In those situations,
but if you're by yourself, I totally think yes.
Yeah, you can.
But
that's where you have to practice mindfulness. And as you practice,
with all the people with
and
distractions.
No. If you practiced and you have honed your mindful skills, you're then able to just be aware of everything that's happening around you. So you don't have to, because I suppose the way I was talking before, that's a very focused mind.
Yeah.
Very focused on a very small thing. It's like mindful walking. You know, you actually focus entirely on. If you do mindful walking, you don't even necessarily have awareness of the whole process. Maybe you just follow one bit. Maybe you just are aware of what it feels like for your feet to be in contact with the floor. And then another time you do it, maybe you're just aware of how your legs move, or how your hips are aligned, or how your shoulders are aligned. You know, you can be selective about what you're mindful of, and that's what develops with practice. But when you're in an environment where you've got your friends around you and the mind's flowing and you're talking, it's just about connecting with the senses and just being aware of everything that's going on around you as much as possible, and not allowing yourself to be sidetracked. You know, because I find that sometimes when you're in that environment and when you're talking, you sometimes go off and you start thinking about what you should say or what you shouldn't say or what you might say next. Do you know what I mean? And your mind deviates, and so that's when you have to bring it back to what's happening around you. At this moment, I'm aware that you guys surrounding me, but I'm not focused on every detail. But I'm certainly here now and ready to respond.
But if we're doing a series of mindful, let's say food, right? Eating a bunch of things mindfully over a period of time, what you do in that minute or that second or whatever, you string enough them seconds of excess together, then you are going to affect the future. You know, there are going to be repercussions of it, or you feel bloated, or you puke, or whatever. You know, or you put on extra stone, or you know, there is a repercussion.
There is. But often, I talking from experience, I find that the point of excess comes because you haven't been aware.
Yeah.
You know, when you've got the box of Quality Street in front of you, and you're not aware of the point when that last green triangle was that was the one that sealed the deal. You know, that's the one that was enough.
Yeah, in theory, one should always be there.
Well, yeah, in theory.
But yeah, I could have
But you do, yeah. But it's when you don't, you do the tub because when you're not mindful.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Because you've just got Mary Poppins on,
It was just,
and it's
yeah, it's true, yeah.
And that's what my daughter does. She's terrible. She's a complete chocoholic. She just keep going and going and going.
But I like the motion of it, and that's not actually enjoying what I'm eating.
No.
So it could have been that.
It's all right. No, it's fine. Quality Street's nice.
Chocolate for the 5 a day, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. But it's engaging that bit of awareness. But it comes with practice. You know, that's why you hopefully that's why you're here to learn the little tips and bits that the exercises that you can practice throughout the week. It's not just about being mindful for 10 minutes on Wednesday evening. It's learning how you can do a bit every day, even just 5 or 10 minutes. There are some people that I've started trying to sit every day for 20 minutes or so, but that's not always practical. But I will.
I don't
regularly.
Yeah, I notice myself needing to. Like, so then I'll be breathing like. And yeah, I do notice myself wanting it almost.
Yeah, but that's why the breath is so powerful. So because you're always breathing.
Yeah.
And you can always turn your awareness to your breath. And the breath happens in the moment. So whether you're walking, whether you're sitting, whether you're, between Quality Streets. You can still, there is a breath between Quality Streets. Believe me. Look for it next time. There's a breath between chocolate digestives as well. And all of those, there's a breath between beers. I haven't found it yet, but I'm still looking. But there is.
So, in your experience, when's the best time to meditate? In the morning or?
Whenever you want to, whenever you can. If you can get up and do it first thing in the morning, brilliant. And it does set you up.
Yeah.
It sets you up, puts you in that relatively chilled but alert state. But sometimes I'll get to 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon and think, I've got pretty kid looking at it. I'll have to sit for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever, and just breathe. And it works well. And then, the next door to me, they bought the house next door, so it's semi, and they're gutting it. And redeveloping it. And the last 2 days, they've been knocking down the wall that separates the kitchen and the dining room. So it's been quite noisy at home, but it's fine. It's okay. I can still sit while they're banging, because we just accept it. You accept what's happening in this moment. You just breathe. Breathe with blows of the hammer. It's quite therapeutic. Okay. So speaking of breathing, we'll do some breathing now. And we'll put Grace's bulbs, which still I'm glad that you've come back because we haven't seen you for a while, and I always felt a little bit guilty. It's like, Grace is bold, but it's Grace is bold. But just to say, it gets used every week,
Good.
and everybody loves it.
Yeah.
And a few people moaned about me squeaking it,
Yeah, you've got to practice.
but
You said that.
everybody. I can't do a tune yet, but it gets used. It does get used, and we love it. So just to say, it's very much appreciated. Right. So the breath. So this is for your benefit, because everybody else knows this. But the breath happens in the moment. You can't breathe in the past. You can't breathe in the future. Your breath happens at this moment in time, right now. And if you can, and it's the easiest thing to be aware of. It's something that your body does automatically. It's one of those functions that happens. It doesn't even happen subconsciously. It's beyond that. It's not something that your brain controls. It just, it's the natural rhythms of your body that keep you alive, that manage your digestion, all of that, manage your breath. You could try and tune into your heart beating. You could follow your pulse, but it's not quite as.
Should be like hard work.
Yeah, well that's it. It's not as easy, and the breath's nice because it's a bit more, I suppose, ambient is a good word.
It's just there.
It's there, and the breath, you're taking something in from the atmosphere, and it connects you with the natural world. The molecules of oxygen and all the other gases that you're breathing in. The molecules that have been processed by the trees. They've been around since the Big Bang, and the breath that I'm taking is the same air that you're taking. It's something that connects us with everybody else, with nature, with everything. So by becoming aware of it, not only is it an internal process and an internal activity, it's also very much an external. So, that's what it has. It internalises and externalises at the same time. So it's a good thing to connect with and be aware of, to practice your mindfulness. And you can use it as a device all those other times. So like I was saying, there's a breath between chocolates. There's a breath between slurps. There's a breath between mouthfuls on the plate. There's a breath between steps as you're walking. There's a breath between, conversation between sentences. There's always a breath. And if you can just bring your awareness to that breath, then you're instantly transported to the present moment. Okay, without further ado, let's breathe. And so for this, you can close your eyes or keep your eyes open. It's entirely up to you. And just begin by becoming aware of the breath at the nostrils. So just follow the breath in and out. Be aware of the air as it moves in and out of the body. And again, if your mind wanders, if you notice that your mind has wandered, either the sound of the bowl or whatever, will just be enough to bring your awareness back to the breath. Just following each individual breath as it happens. Now move backwards and be aware of the breath at the back of the throat, in the neck. Again, just be aware of the movement of air up and down. As the air enters and leaves your body. Now be aware of the breath at the top of the chest. And not only are you aware of the air entering and leaving your body, but you can become aware of the actual movement now. That rise and fall. That expansion as the air enters. movement, that slight descent as you breathe out. Now be aware of the breath right down at the very base of the diaphragm. And to help encourage that awareness down there, when you breathe out, push the diaphragm right up so you expel all of the air from your lungs. So for the next few breaths, just breathe completely and just expel all of the air. Now, for the next few moments, be aware of and follow each of the three components of the breath. So you breathe in, you breathe out, and then there is a pause before you do it again. So just be aware of each of those three component parts. Breathing in, breathing out, and a pause between breaths. Just follow that. If your mind wanders, just bring the awareness back to the breath, the way you are in that cycle of three parts. And in this moment, you're not doing anything because you're not a human doing. You don't have to think anything because you're not a human thinking. You're just being. You connect with your breath, and the three parts of the breath, you're just being alive. A human being alive. When you're ready, you may open your eyes. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Shake it out.
Eat them quality treats.
That's it. Finish off the cheese, eat the quality street, and keep looking at that last bottle of Prosecco that's sitting on the side.
Do you want to hammer the chairs?
So you're all right, honestly. Yeah.